going on, everybody? It is Tommy here from Saleslucky, and today I'll be sharing with you guys March 2020 book reviews. Got some gems for you guys today. So one book I'll share with you guys is called The Automatic Millionaire by David Bach. So this is a great book. I recommended to me from a podcast I was listening to. Mentioned this multiple times. It's by Andy Frisella. MFCEO podcast, and his brother actually recommended this. Really good book. It's kind of similar to Richest Man in Babylon, if you guys have read that. Basically about how if we put aside a portion of our income over time, compounded, creates massive wealth compounded with interest over time. I think Dave Ramsey has like an interest calculator. I mean, you can use any interest calculator, but I think I put in some numbers, and if put in, I'm about to turn 30 this year, in 2 months, and I put in, age 30, if you have X number of dollars, and if you just put aside, let's say $1,000, dollars or $2,000 a month over a span of the next 30 years, it comes out to some ridiculous number like $25 million or something. And that's the power of compounding, putting a small amount aside over time, creating the habits for financial wealth over time, and it'll just compound like incredible amount. And I think it was Albert Einstein that said, compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. And I'd always known that, but when I put those numbers in the calculator, it really kind of blew my mind. It was mind-boggling, to be honest. The second book I want to share with you is, so highly recommend that. I rate that a solid 8 out of 10, by the way. So again, that's The Automatic Millionaire by David Bach. Next book I'm reading is Effortless Experience by Matt Dixon and the CEB gang. So I'm reading this book because in my current role, I'm working with customer service professionals, customer experience professionals, great people, awesome people, who dedicate their lives to helping people, much like what we do here at Saleslucky. So love the people that I get to serve, and one thing that I'm doing is learning about their world. So one thing about being a salesperson or sales professional is you want to understand your prospect. You want to understand the world. You want to understand the lingo that they're using. You want to understand their frustrations, their pain points, who they are, what they like, what they're basically, what kind of people they are, and the industry, and just the things that I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. And this book is helping me do that. So if you are a salesperson, and if you're selling to whatever department you're selling to, you definitely you understand the importance of learning about the niche, the space, the industry that you're selling in addition to sales skills. Because let's be real, in a sales role, there's two real things, aspects that you need to learn: sales skills and also the industry itself. Okay, so I'm reading this to up my game in the CX, customer experience space. The other two books that I'm reading, they're ebooks, so I don't have a physical book to show you, but one of them is called How Rich Asians Think by John Shin, and it's actually created with the Napoleon Hill Foundation. So I'm sure, as you guys know, Napoleon Hill was the man who wrote Think and Grow Rich, one of the most epic books in history. And one of my favorite books, certainly impacted me a ton. And so How Rich Asians Think is kind of like, so John Shin is an Asian entrepreneur, Asian American entrepreneur, and he's, I think he leads the Napoleon Hill Foundation right now, but he wrote this book for, I guess, representing the Asian American community. It's really cool and kind of really touched me on a personal level because, obviously my ethnicity, background is Asian, but more so because not only that, but also because Think and Grow Rich and Napoleon Hill deeply impacted my life. Probably top 5 books that have impacted me the most in my life in the way that I think and see the world. So, I've got a lot of love for Napoleon Hill and Napoleon Hill Foundation, his legacy, and this book, written with um, examples of successes in the Asian American community means a lot to me. Just to be transparent with you guys, growing up, that was something that I really wanted to see more of, was like great, like Asian American role models in media. And I feel like there's more in business and in media. So I feel like there's more and more nowadays. But um, so anyways, like that's why this book is special to me. It's a great book by any means. Especially if you like Think and Grow Rich, it's great to read and great to like read about examples of modern day people like Steve Aoki, The Rock, um, just different people. Robert Kiyosaki from Rich Dad Poor Dad. The Forgetting his name right now, but the founder of Alibaba, Jack Ma, he's in that book as well. So it's a great book, especially if you love Think and Grow Rich, and if you want to read some examples of people, Asian Americans, stories regarding those principles, highly recommend it. I rate it an 8 out of 10. Okay. And the last book I'm going to share with you is Leader Shift by John Maxwell. So I'm not sure if you've heard of John Maxwell. I'm sure you have. He's been around for decades of writing in the leadership space. And I mentioned in the previous video, leadership is something that I am actively working on, trying to improve in my life as a skill set for me. And there was one line in this book that just struck out to me and like literally made me stop reading, think, and pause for a bit. And the line that came up was, a different world cannot be built by an indifferent people. I'm going to say that one more time. A different world cannot be built by an indifferent people. So what does that mean? What does that mean? Well, I took it to mean that you need dreamers. You need people who are different. You need people who think differently to create a different world. If we want to imagine a better world, a different world, you need people who are different. You need people who think differently to do that. And that really, really resonated with me, and indifferent in two senses, it's saying a different world cannot be built by indifferent people. Indifferent in the sense that people who don't care, and people who are, who conform. So, and Ralph Waldo Emerson said that, every great man is unique, or every great person is unique. And it really impacted me and reminded me of a commercial that Steve Jobs created and a quote that he said, which was, "Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs and the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify them or vilify them, but the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward, and while some may see them as crazy ones, we see genius, because the ones who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones that do." So that was Steve Jobs commercial, and click the link below to the blog post. There's a link to the video, to that commercial. I think you're gonna like it. I can't watch that video without getting goosebumps. So check it out. If you're watching this blog, I'm sure you'll like it. I'm sure it'll make an impact. And hope you guys enjoyed these book reviews for March. And I will see you guys on the next video. Oh, and by the way, I give Leader Shift by John Maxwell 8 out of 10. Solid book. Hope you guys get it and check it out. Cheers.